Hello again, third graders. I hope that you had a nice little brain break. Maybe you did some burpees or you ate a snack, went to the bathroom, whatever it is that you needed to do. I hope that you got that done, so now you're able to focus. So we just read The Lion Inside story, and now we're going to be talking about the mouse character, okay? So when I say understanding characters, I mean that the characters are who the story is about in a nonfiction story. So we all know characters. We probably have favorite characters from books. Characters can be people, animals, and they can even be make-believe. What we need to know is that who the characters are, what they say, and how they think, feel, and act. And when we understand more about the characters in a story, it helps us understand the story even better, and it helps us become great readers. And I think it's just also really interesting to talk about characters and their different traits, because it helps us form favorite characters in our heads. So now we are going to do this. This is a Seesaw assignment that you will be doing after this, except you're going to do it with the story of the week on Ramona. We are going to do this together on Mouse right now. Mouse was the main character of the Lion Inside story, and we're going to analyze him. When I say analyze, I mean we're going to dig a little bit deeper, and we're going to think more about his character and his feelings and the things he wanted and things like that. So we have two parts of a circle here. We have the outer part, which is what the character looks like on the outside. And we have the inner part, which is what the characters want, what they feel, or the things that they do. Okay, so let's talk about the outside first. Now, this is a picture of Mouse. What does he look like? What does he look like? Well, he looks brown. Okay, so I'm going to write down that he is a brown mouse. That's going to go in the first text box. What should my second text box say? I can even flip to other pictures of him in the story. Here is him reading a book on how to roar. It looks like he has really big ears, doesn't it? So I'm going to write big ears in the next text box. Remember, this is helping us understand the character, and we're understanding what he looks like on the outside right now. That is called an outside trait. Let me try to find another picture of him for you. This is a picture of him on the lion's mane. If I can, here we go. Looks like he has a pretty long tail, doesn't he? He has a long pink tail. So I'll write that in for the next one. I have to think of 4 since there's 4 text boxes. A long pink tail. Oops. There we go. And for the last one, let's see. Here's another picture of him. What do you think we could have for the next one? He's probably pretty tiny, isn't he? He is a mouse. So he looks really little, especially against the lion. So I'm going to say he is tiny. All right, so those are our 4 outside traits, just 4 ways that he looks like on the outside. Now here's when we have to dig a little bit deeper and use our brains a little bit more. When we talk about inside traits, we have to really think about it. So that says what the character actions are, their feelings, and the wants. So what do you think an inside trait of Mouse would be if we're thinking about his actions, his feelings, and his wants? I'm going to give you a second to think about that. Well, we know that he feels really small at the beginning of the story, right? I'm not just talking about physically small, like the way he looks small. I'm talking about he feels like he is not as strong as the other animals, okay? So he feels small at the beginning. But then at the end of the story, he changes, doesn't he? And that's normal. A lot of characters change in the stories, in different stories. And just like we as people change throughout time. So I'm going to say he feels small, but then feels mighty. Okay, and he feels that way because he learns from the lion that just because you are small doesn't mean, or just because the lion is big doesn't mean that he's brave necessarily, because he was afraid of the mouse. And just because the mouse is small, it doesn't mean that he isn't strong and mighty inside. So that's my first inside trait of mouse. The second one, what do you think another trait of mouse would be? What's something that he feels or wants or something that he does? Well, he wants to learn how to roar, doesn't he? He wants to learn how to roar. That is a character want that he has in the story. Now, at the end of the story, he realizes he doesn't have to roar to be strong and mighty, just like we talked about in the first one here, but that is a want that he has in the story. So we're going to put that down as an inside trait. And then one last one. Let's see, I want you to think about a last inside trait that he could have. And I would tell you to go back inside the story, but you don't have this story. Maybe some of you do. Think about one last thing that he feels inside as a character, like something that he feels, something that he wants. Well, I think that something that he feels is very courageous when he goes and talks to the lion. He feels very courageous because that is something probably pretty scary for him to have done because he was so small. It's a very big deal for him to go talk to the lion because the lion is so big and mighty. Okay, so those are 3 inside traits that he has. So, right, what we just did here in this like 2-part circle diagram, what we did was analyze characters. We looked at the outside traits of mouse, and then we looked at the inside traits of mouse. And this is what you can do with any character in any story. And it really helps you understand the story more, and it helps you kind of take the lesson from the story the author is trying to tell us. I think the lesson in this story that the author is trying to tell us from mouse is that we even if we feel really small inside, we have to learn how to be, or we have to know that we still have a lion inside us, right? We are strong and courageous, even if we don't feel like we really stand out, right? Mouse was not anything special. He was just a little mouse, and nobody even noticed him. But he learned how to use his voice, and he learned how to be courageous. So I think that is what the author was trying to tell us. So you are going to do this now with the story of the week. You're going to do this with the Extra Good Sunday story, and you are going to analyze Ramona's character. Okay? You're going to need to use your textbook to help you, but that assignment will be on Seesaw. If you need any help, you can ask your teacher. Okay? So I cannot wait to see what you come up with. Bye!